The first mistake the dream hunter made was laughing. It wasn't the kind of laugh you'd expect from a creature that looked like a stitched shadow come alive. No, it was a sharp, metallic chitter, like knives clinking together in a drawer. The kind of sound you only heard in nightmares, except here, in the Academy's Hall of Mental Trials. It bounced across polished stone walls under the bright artificial suns. The second mistake was assuming humans dreamed the same way everyone else did. Cadet Ryan Hale sat in the oversized chair with electrodes pressed against his temples, his posture loose, one boot crossed over the other. He should have looked nervous. Every other recruit before him had emerged from the mind dome pale, shaken, sometimes sobbing after the dream hunters finished their tests. That was the point, to measure a species' deepest fears, to see whether they broke or adapted. But Ryan was different. He chewed lazily on what looked like an unlit toothpick, though it was just a splinter he'd snapped off a training spear. He didn't flinch when the alien approached. The dream hunter leaned close, its translucent mask revealing a mouth that didn't quite match the bones beneath. Its voice rippled like oil over water. "Human, you have been summoned to the inner field. Your essence will be weighed, your courage sifted. If you leave unscarred." Ryan just shrugged. "Yeah, sounds like a Monday." Several cadets behind the glass barrier stifled gasps. You didn't joke with a dream hunter. Their species, the coHFY, served as the Alliance's arbiters of psyche and potential, and they despised irreverence. They claimed their power came from respect. Ryan seemed oblivious. Or maybe he wasn't. The alien's chitter laugh cut the silence again. "Amusing. So fragile, so arrogant. I will enjoy unraveling your tiny fears. They say humans have soft minds. That your dreams betray you." Ryan leaned forward just enough to meet the alien's eyes, or where its eyes would be if they weren't pools of ink shifting in a skull of smoke. "Careful what you wish for. You step into my head, you might not want to come back out." That earned a ripple of uncomfortable whispers in the gallery. The overseer, a crystalline being shaped like a prism, raised a limb. "Begin the trial." The chamber darkened. The electrodes flared. And the dream hunter dived into Ryan's mind. The first thing it saw was a rubber chicken. It dangled from a string, squeaking every time the void wind pushed it. The chicken spun slowly in the dark, mocking in its absurdity. The dream hunter froze. This wasn't the expected architecture of human fear. No cages, no screaming echoes, no bottomless chasms. Just a toy. "Explain this," the alien demanded. Its voice reverberated inside the shared dreamscape. Ryan's projection appeared next, hands in his jacket pockets, looking infuriatingly casual. "That? Oh, that's just Gary. He keeps watch." The chicken squeaked. The alien hissed, flexing claws made of fractured glass. "This is nonsense. You hide behind humor. But your real fears cannot be denied." It clawed through the void, tearing open a veil of static, and behind it revealed a storm of terrors, or at least what should have been. It expected writhing nightmares, death, sorrow, loss. Instead, it found purple hippos in tutus. They danced in perfect unison, twirling across the black floor, humming Beethoven's Fifth in kazoo tones. Ryan crossed his arms. "You wanted inside my head. You didn't ask for the premium tour?" The dream hunter's jaw unhinged in disgust. "This is mockery." "No," Ryan said, smirking. "This is me being generous. You're better off staying in the Hippo district. You don't want to see what's down the real corridors." The alien recoiled, confused by the sudden heaviness beneath Ryan's tone. For a flicker of a moment, the hippos faded, and something vast shifted in the dark. Something older. The dream hunter felt it, a coiled pressure, like a predator's eye opening just out of sight. The alien pushed the sensation away and lashed its claws again. The hippos vanished. The void shuddered. "Enough. I will strip you bare." Ryan only tilted his head. "Go ahead. Just don't say I didn't warn you." Back in the physical chamber, the cadets watching saw the dream hunter stiffen. Its body twitched unnaturally, shadows writhing around its limbs. Normally, by now, it would be projecting the recruits' fears onto the glass dome for all to see. That was the purpose, make the candidate confront their terrors publicly. But nothing appeared on the projection. Just static. Is something wrong? A cadet whispered. The overseer prism being tilted slightly, colors shifting in unease. Unusual interference. The human mindscape resists visualization. The cadets exchanged nervous looks. Humans were new to the Alliance academies. No one really knew how their brains interacted with dream hunters. But seeing the alien itself struggling was unheard of. Inside, the dream hunter pressed deeper. It forced open another seam in Ryan's mind. This time it was sure, this would reveal something raw, vulnerable, exploitable. The seam cracked. And the alien was standing in a high school gymnasium. Bright fluorescent lights buzzed overhead. Rows of metal bleachers. The squeak of sneakers on polished wood. And in the center, a teenage Ryan, trembling, standing before a crowd. The alien smiled wickedly. Ah! At last! The fear of humiliation. Of failure before peers. Such weakness. Ryan's projection sighed. Oh, not this memory. Ugh. Fine. Let's get it over with. Whistles blew. A basketball was tossed to the teenage Ryan, who fumbled it instantly, bouncing it off his own face. The crowd erupted in cruel laughter. The dream hunter absorbed the delicious flavor of embarrassment. Yes, here was weakness. Here was shame. But then something strange happened. The teenage Ryan paused, looked up, and grinned. Bet you didn't expect this part, the older Ryan said beside the alien. The teenage Ryan pulled a kazoo from his pocket, blew a triumphant note, and the entire gymnasium erupted into choreographed dance. Students, teachers, even the janitor, all breakdancing, moonwalking, spinning on their heads. The dream hunter staggered. What is this? Ryan smirked. It's called a coping mechanism. Humans remix our bad memories until they're funny. Makes them harder to weaponize. The alien tried to seize control, but the dream kept twisting. The humiliation scene melted into a ridiculous parade, llamas in graduation gowns, a marching band of squirrels, Ryan's math teacher juggling flaming textbooks while shouting, "You'll never use algebra!" Everywhere the alien turned, the dream bent toward absurdity, parody, and humor. It couldn't get a grip. You are corrupting your own fear, the alien shrieked. Not corrupting, Ryan corrected, strolling casually. Reframing. Humans do it all the time. Laugh at the pain until it loses its teeth. The dream hunter's claws sparked as it raked through the scene, furious. Impossible. Dreams are pure essence. They cannot be twisted by will alone. Ryan tapped his temple. Guess no one told you, humans weaponize imagination. And trust me, it only gets weirder from here. Back in the chamber, more time ticked by. The cadets whispered nervously. The overseer shifted again, its facets flashing red. This should not be possible, it muttered. The dream hunter is losing dominion. Or, another cadet whispered, the human is winning. Inside, the dream hunter tried again. It dove deeper, pushing past the comedy shields, ripping straight for the core subconscious. For a heartbeat, it broke through. Darkness. Silence. Then breathing. Not Ryan's. Something bigger. Heavy. Monstrous. The kind of breathing that made the alien's essence quiver. Ryan's smirk faded. His projection stood still, eyes serious now. I told you. There are places you don't want to go. The dream hunter squinted into the void. Shapes began to move. Vast, hulking shadows with eyes like burning coals. They surrounded the alien slowly, their growls rolling like earthquakes. What are these? The alien whispered. Ryan's gaze remained fixed. The things that scare me. And the thing about humans, you dig deep enough, you'll find we're not scared of monsters the way you think. We make friends with them. We turn them into stories. Legends. Weapons. The beast closed in, circling. Not attacking, just waiting. The dream hunter's laughter faltered. For the first time in centuries, it wasn't sure who was hunting who. And outside, in the physical chamber, the projection dome suddenly flickered to life. Every cadet gasped. What they saw wasn't Ryan's fears. It was the dream hunter's. The gallery had never seen anything like it. Where normally the dome showed a recruit's private fears, shadows of predators, looming disasters, all neatly catalogued, the projection now twisted with something alien. Not human fears, but the dream hunter's. Black claws scrabbled against the surface of the dome from inside, its silhouette writhing in frantic desperation. The cadets pressed close, whispering. It's supposed to control the dreams, right? Yeah. So why does it look like it's the one trapped? Is the human doing that? The overseer flickered sharp tones of alarm across its crystalline facets. This defies every known precedent. The cartel cannot be overpowered. Not in their dominion. But Ryan Hale leaned back in the chair, still relaxed, as though none of this concerned him. His lips curved faintly, almost like he was humming a tune no one else could hear. Inside his mind, however, the situation was anything but casual. The dream hunter staggered through shifting terrain. One moment it stood ankle-deep in a swamp that stank of rotten candy. The next, it was waist-deep in a ball pit filled with squeaky toys that popped like fireworks when touched. Each transition jangled its senses, disorienting it further. This is chaos. It snarled. Your subconscious is diseased. Ryan appeared again, leaning against a giant inflatable duck. Nah. This is called creativity. You guys keep expecting a neat filing cabinet of trauma. But my brain? He gestured at the bouncing walls around them. It's a carnival. The dream hunter swiped its claw, and the scenery melted into darkness. For a second, it regained control. It reached into the void, summoning what it knew must lie beneath: primal terror, hidden scars, the bones of nightmares. But instead of fear, the void erupted into a sitcom. Canned laughter echoed. A glowing neon sign read, "Live studio audience." And there, center stage, sat Ryan behind a desk like a late-night host. He shuffled cards, sipped from a mug labeled World's OKest Dreamer, and smirked at the alien. Welcome, folks! Tonight's special guest, the dream hunter who thought he could psychoanalyze me. Give him a big hand! Thunderous applause erupted from nowhere. Spotlights blinded the alien. The dream hunter recoiled. This is blasphemy. Ryan leaned closer, voice lowering just enough for menace to seep through the humor. You broke into my head. Don't cry when you don't like the furniture. The laughter track warped into distorted echoes, filling the alien with unease. It slashed at the air, desperate to reassert itself. But each slash only birthed new absurdities. A marching band of clowns poured onto the stage. A disco ball descended, scattering shards of light that cut through its shadowed form. The audience, dozens of Ryans in cheap wigs, chanted in unison, "Hunter! Hunter! Hunter!" The alien's essence flickered. This wasn't how dreams were supposed to function. It could feel control slipping, like sand draining between claws. Back in the chamber, the overseer's voice boomed, brittle with panic. Containment breach imminent. The dream hunter's psyche is destabilizing. Wait, one cadet said, wide-eyed. Is the human killing it? Ryan's eyelids fluttered under the electrodes. He whispered something inaudible, lips twitching with the hint of a grin. Inside, the dream hunter abandoned subtlety. It dove past the sitcom set, ignoring the illusions. With raw force, it tore deeper toward Ryan's subconscious core. Layers of humor peeled away, jokes, memes, twisted memories turned funny. The alien bypassed them all, determined to reach the root. Enough distractions, it hissed. I will uncover the truth. It slammed into a barrier. A simple wooden door. Nothing else in the void, just that door. Its surface carved with childish doodles, rockets, stick figures, a dog with lopsided ears. Ryan appeared beside it, arms crossed. His expression had shifted from amused to solemn. You don't want to open that. The dream hunter snarled. All doors open to me. It thrust a claw forward. The door creaked, cracked, and the ground shook. From behind the door came a roar. Not comedic, not absurd. Something ancient, buried deep. A sound like stone grinding against stone, soaked in rage and grief. Ryan stepped back, fists clenched. Told you. The dream hunter hesitated. For the first time, uncertainty slithered through its veins. What is that? Ryan didn't answer. The roar grew louder. The door bulged outward as if something massive pressed against it. Splinters rained down. Shadows stretched across the void, swallowing the clown parades and sitcom lights. The dream hunter recoiled. Instinct screamed at it to retreat, but pride kept it rooted. I am not afraid, it hissed. The door exploded. From the wreckage emerged a colossal figure stitched together from fragments of Ryan's darkest fears, towering silhouettes of bullies, the gnashing jaws of predatory beasts, the silence of empty hospital rooms, the weight of failure pressing like chains. But all fused into one monstrous titan, its form crackling with red lightning. The dream hunter staggered back. This is impossible. Ryan's voice echoed, layered with steel. We don't just have fears. We build them into monsters. And then we fight them. The titan's eyes blazed. It lunged. Outside, the dome quaked. Energy rippled across the chamber. The projection showed only a towering shadow chasing a smaller, shrieking one. Cadets scrambled back, horrified. The dream hunter is being hunted, someone whispered. Inside, the alien fled. It darted through Ryan's mindscape, desperate to escape the Titan's pursuit. Every step shattered dream illusions, ripping open more bizarre terrain, a battlefield made of giant chess pieces, a storm of paper airplanes with razor edges, oceans of spilled coffee stretching to the horizon. But the Titan always followed, its roar shaking the landscape. Ryan ran alongside it casually, hands tucked in his jacket. Told you my head's not a safe vacation spot. The alien snapped. Why won't you collapse under it? That thing should terrify you. Ryan shrugged mid-sprint. It does. But here's the trick, you face it enough times, it stops owning you. Fear's not a cage. It's fuel. The dream hunter tripped, sprawling across shifting ground that turned into a massive trampoline. It bounced helplessly, flipping through the air, before landing face first in a sandbox. Sand filled its maw, choking. The Titan loomed closer. The alien screamed, clawing at the sand. Stop this! I am the predator of dreams. You are the prey. Ryan crouched beside it, smirking. Prey doesn't talk back this much. The Titan raised its massive hand, ready to strike. Back in the chamber, the overseer blazed with alarm. If the human destroys the dream hunter here, the psychic backlash will rupture the dome. Evacuate! Cadets scrambled for the exits, but most lingered at the glass, unable to look away. A human cadet, just a kid from a backwater planet, was about to do what no species had dared, turn a dream hunter's own weapon against it. Inside, the alien made one last gamble. It screeched, voice laced with desperation and fury. You cannot contain me! If I fall, I will take you with me! It ripped open a fissure in the dreamscape, trying to merge its essence with Ryan's mind, to entangle their psyches so deeply neither could survive separation. Ryan froze. Even he hadn't expected that. For the first time, uncertainty cracked his grin. The fissure widened, pulling everything toward it, the Titan, the landscapes, even Ryan himself. The alien latched on, claws digging into Ryan's chest. Their forms began to blur, identities bleeding together. The Titan roared but could not stop the pull. Ryan's voice strained. You really don't know when to quit, do you? The dream hunter hissed, eyes wild. If I cannot dominate you, I will devour you! The fissure howled. The carnival collapsed. The sitcom shattered. The absurd defenses disintegrated. Only raw subconscious remained, a storm of fire and shadow, fragments of Ryan's memories spinning like debris. Childhood laughter. War drills. Loneliness on cold nights. Joy of a first joke that landed. Rage at injustice. The entire mosaic of a human soul, laid bare. The alien clawed through it hungrily. Yes, yes, I will consume. But something was wrong. The memories didn't dissolve into weakness. They burned. Each fragment seared the alien's essence, like trying to swallow coals. Laughter cut deeper than blades. Determination hit harder than teeth. Even grief carried a stubborn pulse, a refusal to be extinguished. Ryan gritted his teeth, forcing his hand upward until it gripped the alien's arm. His voice was low, trembling with strain but unbroken. We don't break the way you think. You feed on fear, but with us? Fear feeds us. The alien screamed, thrashing, trying to pull free. The fissure collapsed inward with a deafening crack. Outside, alarms blared. The dome's surface fractured, sparks cascading. The overseer screeched frequencies that shattered nearby glass. Cadets shielded their faces. And then, silence. The dome cleared. Ryan sat in the chair, breathing hard, sweat dripping down his brow. Electrodes sparked and fizzled. His eyes opened slowly. The dream hunter, however, lay sprawled on the floor. Its once shadowed form was dim, fractured, twitching as though broken from the inside out. For the first time, the predator of dreams looked afraid. Ryan wiped his forehead with the back of his hand. Told you not to go poking around in there. And in the hushed chamber, every cadet realized the same thing. The test wasn't about whether humans could survive the dream hunter. It was about whether the dream hunter could survive humans. The chamber reeked of ozone and burnt circuitry. Cracks spiderwebbed across the dome where the trial had taken place, its once gleaming surface blackened. The cadet stood frozen in a semicircle, eyes darting between the human sitting calmly in his chair and the dream hunter sprawled on the floor like a broken marionette. No one spoke. Even the overseer, its crystalline facets pulsing erratic crimson, seemed uncertain. Ryan Hale tilted his head, catching his breath. His shirt clung with sweat, his chest rising and falling like he'd just run a marathon inside his own skull. Yet his eyes glinted with something sharp and annoyingly alive. The dream hunter twitched. Its claws scraped weakly against the floor. Its shadowy body flickered, struggling to hold cohesion. For a moment it looked like it might simply dissipate. Then it laughed. The sound was weaker than before, broken and jagged, but it carried a vicious undertone. You think this is victory? You, child. You dare humiliate me before prey? Ryan leaned back in the chair, flexing his fingers. Pretty sure the scoreboard says 1-0 human. The alien surged upright, trembling with fury. Its form expanded, swelling with desperate shadows until it loomed twice its usual height. Every crackle of its essence filled the chamber with chill. The cadets stumbled back. One hissed. It's not done. It's lashing out. The overseer blared warning tones. Containment breach escalation. All cadets evacuate immediately. But Ryan didn't move. He stared at the alien, jaw tightening. You couldn't beat me in my own head, so now you're gonna throw a tantrum in the real world? Figures. The dream hunter's voice layered over itself, doubled and tripled in rage. Your mind is poison. A nest of absurdities and contradictions. But flesh is weak. I will tear yours apart. It lunged. The chamber erupted in chaos. Cadets scattered as the shadow beast's claws shredded stone like paper. The overseer flared beams of hard light, but the dream hunter swatted them aside, shrieking. Shards of crystal rained across the floor. Ryan rolled off the chair just as a claw carved it in half. Sparks burst from severed electrodes. He landed in a crouch, teeth clenched. Every instinct screamed at him to run. But he didn't. Instead, he muttered, Guess we're doing round 2 outside the ring. He grabbed the broken splinter of training spear he'd been chewing earlier. It was laughably small compared to the monster before him, but it felt right in his hand. The dream hunter snarled, shadows writhing like smoke in a hurricane. No more jokes. No more illusions. Just death. Ryan twirled the splinter like a baton, hard hammering. See, here's the problem. You still don't get humans. He rushed forward. The cadet stared in disbelief as Ryan charged a creature 3 times his height armed with nothing but a stick. The dream hunter slashed. Ryan dove beneath, rolled, came up swinging. The splinter jabbed into its side, not cutting flesh but disrupting shadow. The alien screeched, staggering. Ryan grinned through gritted teeth. Huh. Guess imagination's not the only thing that hurts you. The overseer shouted warnings in harmonic tones. Human cadet, fall back. This entity cannot be defeated physically. Ryan ducked another swipe. Yeah, I heard that before gym class too. Turns out, people underestimate stubbornness. The dream hunter roared, its body ballooning further, filling half the chamber with seething black mass. Its eyes, pits of glowing white, locked on Ryan. I will consume you whole. Shadows poured like a tide. Ryan leapt onto the wreckage of the dome, climbing upward, staying just ahead of the tide. His lungs burned, his splinter spear shook in his grip, but adrenaline sang in his veins. Behind him, cadets shouted, some trying to fire stun lances at the creature, but their beams only vanished into its swirling mass. Ryan reached the top of the dome's fractured surface. He planted his boots wide and looked down at the storm below. Hey, nightmare fuel! He yelled. You want a real fight? You're not done with me until you're back inside. The dream hunter hesitated, its form shuddering with fury. Inside? Ryan twirled the splinter again, even as exhaustion dragged at his arms. Yeah. You came into my head once. Let's finish this where it started. The alien screeched, the sound vibrating marrow. Foolish human! It lunged upward. Ryan didn't dodge. He let the shadows swallow him whole. For the cadets outside, it was like watching a man dive straight into a black hole. One moment Ryan stood defiantly, the next, gone, consumed by the writhing beast. Gasps and screams filled the chamber. Did he just? He let it take him. He's dead. He has to be. The overseer pulsed jagged red. Contact severed. Both entities, human and coHFY, are entangled. Probability of survival, negligible. But deep down, in the silence after the outcry, some cadets whispered something else. He chose to fight it in there again. On his terms. Madman. Inside the alien's essence, Ryan landed hard. The void yawned around him, darker and thicker than before. No carnival, no sitcom, no hippos and tutus. Just crushing shadow, cold and endless. The dream hunter's voice thundered from every direction. Welcome back, prey. Here there is no laughter. Only my dominion. Ryan groaned, pushing himself up. His stick had come with him, somehow sharpened in the transition, glowing faintly with light. He gripped it like a torch in the dark. His breath fogged. His body shook. But he smirked anyway. Yeah, about that. You didn't read the fine print. Humans don't do dominion very well. We improvise. The void closed in, squeezing. Whispers slithered, failures, regrets, every mistake amplified. Ryan staggered under the weight. He saw flashes, times he'd let people down, nights he'd lied awake doubting himself. The dream hunter hissed. See? Weakness. Endless weakness. Ryan clenched his jaw. Maybe. But you missed the other half. He slammed the spear tip into the ground. Light erupted. The darkness peeled back to reveal fragments, moments of laughter with friends, the pride of surviving training drills, the comfort of childhood memories. Each memory burned like a star, pushing back the suffocating void. The alien shrieked. Stop this! Ryan panted, forcing himself upright. You wanted my mind? Fine. But you don't get to cherry-pick the misery. You take all of it, or none. The stars expanded, linking together into constellations. And from those constellations emerged the Titan again, Ryan's stitched-together monster of fear, but now armored in firelight, wielding a weapon of its own. It turned to Ryan, eyes blazing. Ryan raised his stick. Round 2, buddy. Let's show him what happens when you push too far. The Titan roared and charged. The battle shook the dreamscape. The Titan slammed into the Dream Hunter's form, tearing chunks of shadow. Ryan darted between them, striking wherever he could, his glowing stick searing the alien's tendrils. The Dream Hunter howled in disbelief. You ally yourself with your fears? Madness! Ryan ducked under a claw, jabbing upward. Not madness. Strategy. You think fear makes us prey. Truth is, it's the only reason we're still standing. The Titan hammered a fist into the alien's chest. Explosions of light ripped through the void. The Dream Hunter convulsed, its once massive form shrinking under the onslaught. Ryan pressed forward, sweat stinging his eyes. Every strike of his weapon made the stick glow brighter, feeding on his determination. Finally, he drove it deep into the alien's core. The Dream Hunter screamed, its voice cracking into 1,000 broken echoes. You are unnatural! Ryan twisted the stick, leaning close, voice steady despite the trembling in his arms. No. I'm human! The alien exploded in a torrent of fractured shadow. Outside, the cadets shielded their eyes as the dome flared blinding white. Then, silence again. When the light faded, the Dream Hunter lay collapsed, its body flickering, a husk. And standing beside it, limping, scorched, but alive, was Ryan Hale, still clutching the faintly glowing stick. He staggered once, then caught himself. Well, he rasped. That was a rush. No one spoke. Then, slowly, cadets began to clap. One by one, the sound grew until it filled the ruined chamber, a thunderous ovation for the human who had turned a predator inside out. Ryan squinted, rubbing his ear. Seriously? Applause? I almost died in there. But the grin tugging at his lips betrayed him. And yet, even as celebration filled the room, the Overseer's crystalline facets shimmered uneasily. Because the Dream Hunter wasn't gone. Not entirely. Its body twitched, whispering faintly. And Ryan, though triumphant, felt something in the back of his skull, a whisper, a fragment of shadow left behind. The battle wasn't truly over. Not yet. The clapping echoed long after it should have faded. Cadets stamped boots and whooped like they'd witnessed some legendary duel instead of a training trial gone wrong. Even the stoic Overseer gave a faint prism glow of approval, though its facets still pulsed with warning red. Ryan Hale stood in the middle of the wreckage, sweat dripping, chest heaving, one hand clamped on the glowing stick like it was the only thing keeping him upright. He managed a crooked grin and a bow that was half sincere, half exhausted sarcasm. Thanks, he muttered. I'll be here all week, assuming the cafeteria serves something edible. Laughter rippled through the cadets. Relief, mostly. But beneath the noise, Ryan caught the faintest whisper. A hiss, like smoke sliding across glass. You think me gone, human? Ryan's smile faltered. He scanned the chamber, but no one else seemed to hear it. The Dream Hunter's husk still lay sprawled, its body flickering like a dying flame. But Ryan could feel it, a thread in his skull, tugging, curling, waiting. He rubbed his temple. Figures. The thing couldn't just die quietly. Later, medics insisted on checking him. They prodded him with scanners, shone lights into his eyes, muttered about residual psychic contamination. Ryan mostly tuned them out, nodding when appropriate. His head buzzed like he'd pulled 3 all-nighters back to back. Finally, when they left him to rest, Ryan slumped against the infirmary cot. The whisper returned. You cannot sleep. If you close your eyes, I will be there. I will rebuild from your shadows. Slowly. Patiently. Until your mind is mine. Ryan groaned. Great. I get the galaxy's worst roommate. The whisper coiled, venomous. You jest. But I will hollow you. I will wear your flesh and strike down your kind until none dare laugh again. Ryan rubbed his eyes. You still don't get it, do you? You came into my head once. That means you left the door open both ways. The whisper stuttered. What? Ryan grinned tiredly. I can come to you now. And he closed his eyes, not to sleep, but to dive. Darkness again. Ryan landed not in his carnival dreamscape, but in something different, a realm half his, half the hunter's. The ground writhed like ink, the sky cracked with red lightning. Shadows moved, sluggish but alive. The dream hunter's fractured form lurked at the horizon, smaller than before, but still snarling. Its body flickered with holes. "You dare enter my husk," it hissed. "You will not leave." Ryan twirled his glowing stick, still there, still sharp. "Guess we're both squatters now. But here's the thing, you're weak. And I've already beaten you twice. You really want a trilogy?" The alien lunged, slower than before. Ryan sidestepped, striking its arm. Light ripped through the shadow, making it howl. Ryan advanced, jabbing again and again, each strike unraveling more of its form. But this time, he wasn't just fighting. He was weaving. Each slash of his weapon left trails of light that lingered, crisscrossing until they formed a net. The hunter struggled, thrashing, but the glowing lines held fast. "What are you doing?" it shrieked. Ryan tightened the net. "You came in here thinking fear was your leash. You forgot what else humans do with fear." The net pulsed. Memories of laughter, determination, stubborn hope bled into the threads. The hunter writhed, sizzling where the lines touched. Ryan's jaw tightened. "We turn it into stories. Monsters in books, movies, bedtime tales. Things that scare us but also entertain us. We don't let fear rule us. We box it up, give it a stage, and make it dance until it's not scary anymore." The hunter screamed as the net tightened, compressing its form. Its claws snapped, its body shuddered, but it couldn't break free. Ryan leaned closer, eyes hard. "So guess what? Congratulations, you're a bedtime story now." With one final pull, the net snapped shut. The dream hunter imploded into sparks of shadow. The remnants twisted, reshaped, not into a predator, but into a small, squirming figure, barely the size of a rabbit. It looked up at Ryan with glowing pinprick eyes, whimpering. Ryan crouched, stick resting on his shoulder. "Huh! You're cuter when you're not trying to eat me alive." The creature hissed weakly, but its voice was small. "This is humiliation." "Yeah," Ryan said. "But look at it this way. Now you're portable." He reached down, scooped the little shadow thing up, and stuffed it into a glass jar that materialized from his imagination. The lid clicked shut. The hunter rattled inside, spitting curses too tiny to be intimidating. Ryan tapped the glass. "See? Humans don't just face fears. We keep souvenirs." And with that, he woke up. The infirmary lights were blinding. Ryan sat upright, sweat-soaked but smiling. In his hand was no jar, but he could still feel it in his mind, the hunter trapped, buzzing like a wasp in a bottle. Contained. He exhaled, leaning back. "Well, that's that." Days later, word had spread across the academy. Cadets whispered Ryan's name like a legend. "The human who trapped a dream hunter." Professors debated in hushed tones. Some called for study. Others demanded exile. Ryan mostly ignored them. He sat in the cafeteria, stabbing suspiciously gray stew with a fork. Across from him, a fellow cadet leaned in. "So, is it true? You've got it in your head? Like right now?" Ryan shrugged. "Yeah. More annoying than dangerous. Think of it like a really bitter parrot." The cadet shivered. "And you're okay with that?" Ryan smirked. "Better me than letting it crawl into someone else. Besides, it keeps me company on boring nights." Inside his mind, the tiny hunter rattled its jar. "I will end you, human." Ryan spooned more stew. Yeah? Get in line. This stuff's trying to kill me first." The cadet blinked, not sure if Ryan was joking. But with humans, who could tell? Weeks turned to months. The academy adapted its trials, revising rules, adding warnings. Do not underestimate human resilience. Do not engage their subconscious lightly. But whispers grew louder. Other species began to wonder, if one human could survive, and trap a dream hunter, what else were humans capable of? Ryan didn't care much about galactic politics. He still had drills, assignments, and cafeteria food that tasted like punishment. But sometimes, when lights dimmed and silence stretched, he'd close his eyes and peer inward. The hunter would glare at him from inside its jar, still muttering. Ryan would grin. You know, we should workshop a sitcom together. My roommate, the nightmare. Bet it'd be a hit. The hunter snarled, but softer now. And Ryan would fall asleep, unafraid. The day he graduated, the overseer Prism being itself addressed the cadets. Its voice chimed across the hall. In all recorded history, no candidate has faced the Cadet Dream Hunters and emerged victorious. Humanity has demonstrated a unique relationship with fear. One that may change the balance of the alliance. Ryan yawned. Great. Can we get to the part where we toss our hats? The cadets laughed, hats flying skyward. For a brief moment, the hall was filled with joy instead of dread. And in the back of Ryan's mind, the hunter sulked in silence. Much later, on a mission far from the academy, Ryan found himself staring at alien stars. The ship hummed beneath him. He leaned against the viewport, arms crossed. You will falter one day, the hunter whispered from its jar. Even humans break. Ryan smiled faintly at the stars. Maybe. But here's the difference between you and me. You feed on fear. We learn from it. You hide in nightmares. We turn them into bedtime stories. You try to hunt us in dreams. But we wake up. The hunter didn't reply. For once, it had nothing to say. Ryan closed his eyes, breathing steady. Tomorrow would bring new trials, new terrors, new jokes waiting to be made. But tonight, he let himself rest, unafraid. Because the dream hunter had mocked humanity. And discovered the joke was on it.